10 minutes or so. As the music plays, we'd like to invite you to just close your eyes, relax, and rest in the presence and hold space.
Ganapataye namo namaha. Ganapataye namo namaha. Ganapataye namo namaha. Jai Ganesha Gananatha Dayaniti Sakala Vignakara Dhura Hamare. Jai Ganesha Gananatha Dayaniti Sakala Vignakara Dhura Hamare. Ganapataye namo namaha. 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 Omega Dantaya Vidmahi Vakratundaya Dhimahi Tanno Danti Prachodayat. Ganapataye namo namaha. 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 Jai Ganesha Gananatha Dayaniti Sakala Vignakara Dhura Hamare. Jai Ganesha Gananatha Dayaniti Sakala Vignakara Dhura Hamare. Ganapataye namo namaha. Namo Namaha Gam Ganapataye Namo Namaha Jai Ganesha Gananata Dayaniti Sakala Vigna Karadura Hamari Jai Ganesha Gananata Dayaniti Sakala Vigna Karadura Hamari Ganganapataye Namo Namaha 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 Suklambaradharam Vishnu Sasivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyaye Sarvavignyopashantaye Sarvavignyopashantam Ganapataye Namo Namaha Ram 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 Ganapataye Namo Namaha Jai Ganesha Gananata Dayaniti Sakala Vigna Karadura Hamari Jai Ganesha Gananata Dayaniti Sakala Vigna Karadura Hamari Ganganapataye Namo Namaha 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 Om Ekadadaya Vidmahi Vakratundaya Dhimahi Tanno Danti Prachodayat Ganganapataye Namo Namaha Ganganapataye Namo Namaha Ganganapataye Namo Namaha Ganganapataye Namo Namaha Namo Namaha Namo Namaha
Namaste.
Welcome.
Welcome to our weekly online Satsang. Satsang is a Sanskrit word that literally means community of truth. But we bring that down to earth a little bit. It's a spiritual community wherever two or more people gather together that are on the path of awakening, flowering of the heart, transformation. We have a Satsang. And it's so important to our spiritual journey as time goes on. We need to stay connected with others that are on the path of awakening or are awakened. We strengthen one another exponentially when we bring together the presence that our individual awakening journey is generating and awakening all around us. When we all come together, that field of the presence becomes incredibly amplified. So, be part of a spiritual community, and one locally, I hope, where you can actually give somebody a hug and get a hug, and be in the same room face to face. You'd find more in common with other people who are awakening or are awakened than you would with people of your own religious background or faith tradition. It's an amazing phenomenon when we begin to awaken. The things that divided us in terms of our spiritual practices and beliefs just dissolve. They disappear. And that needs to happen on earth in a big way. We need a shift in the collective consciousness of humanity from an insane civilization of competition, conflict, and war that's been going on for all of known history into a new earth, a new world civilization rooted in cooperation, harmony, and peace. That happens when the collective consciousness shifts from separation into oneness. That happens when enough individuals awaken. And so, this is our work, one person at a time, helping ourselves, helping others to awaken and be transformed, is sending ripples out into the collective consciousness of humanity. And it couldn't be happening at a better time. So, glad you're here. Please join us in sharing the Flowering Heart Blessing. This form of blessing, Hridaya, Vikasa, Diksha in Sanskrit, literally just means flowering heart blessing. And it was something that the divine revealed to Suzanne and me about 8 years ago when we had a slight shift in our path. We said, what now? And the divine just dropped the flowering heart blessing into our hearts and said, share this. And our hearts just began to supernova with pure light of pure unconditional divine love and awakened awareness. The divine said, share this with people and let them know that it doesn't come from you or any avatar or master or saint. It comes from me without being filtered through any spiritual hierarchy or organization. It comes directly from divine source to anyone, the divine said, that I choose to share it with as a gift of grace. And we understood grace being a gift of love that's not earned, not paid for, not necessarily deserved in any way. And so the divine said, give it away and don't charge for it. And when people want to share it, because lots of people will, it catalyzes awakening in the receiver. It hastens the journey of awakening. It dissolves blocks in the way. And if you're awakened, wonderful, that's not a destination. The Flowering Heart Blessing, the presence will take you deeper and deeper and deeper. Just give it to people and tell them if they want to share it. They've been initiated the moment they received the first Flowering Heart Blessing. They were activated and initiated. All you need to do is invite the divine, who is already predisposed to wanting to do this. Just invite the divine to pour the Flowering Heart Blessing through you to whomever you hold in your consciousness with compassion and love. That could be in meditation or prayer or across the room, or someone you touch with informed consent lightly on the top of their heads, and just get out of the way. The divine does it. We don't. We don't need to know what we're doing or how to do it. We just need to have a willingness and openness for the divine to flow through us as vessels of grace. So there's a lot about that on our website at floweringheart.org. feel free to peruse the hundreds of web pages that are there. There's just way too much information. But there's probably something there about what you're looking for somewhere, if you know how to find it. Anyway, and if you don't, just email me and I'll tell you where to find it. How's that? Announcements, I think we're having a blessed lull. It's been so intense the last month. It's been so much going on. All good. Pretty much all good, really. No, all good. But intense. And we hardly had a minute to catch our breath. And now things are just beginning to, I shouldn't even say this, because you know what's next, right? It's the waves of the Tao. So, but no announcements. I would like to ask you, if you're here, or you even pass through, to give on Facebook Live, give us a thumbs up or a heart, because I go in after the webcast with Suzanne, and all during the week, each day, I'll go back between tonight and next Monday, and I'll look who's been watching. He's like Jason Foster. Hi, Jason, great to see you. He said, happy to be here live. I usually have to get the replay. I get that. Most people who participate in this satsang are doing the replay, which is just fine because we're all holding the intention that the blessings and the presence will be in the here and now, because there is no time and space in spirit. There's just here now. So the very same presence that we all experience live is exactly what someone would experience watching the video recording a year from now. But we want to know you passed through anyway, so leave us a like or a love. If you're watching on Vimeo, you can enter just something in the chat like, hi, I was here, and who you are. And if you're watching on LinkedIn, good luck, I don't know what to do. Or YouTube, where this thing is streaming a number of different places. But you can respond and enter the dialogue on Vimeo or Facebook Live. And we like to open it up to several minutes of questions and answers on the spiritual journey. We haven't had nearly as many of those as we used to. They've all been great, though. When they come through, they catalyze the whole evening. Great. So ask inside if Spirit, if the Divine might be nudging you to throw a question out there for deeper insight and clarity. And that seems to move the Divine to inspire us, and we all get blessed as a result. So, it's great to see all of you. While I'm waiting for the questions to come pouring in, I was going to say, we don't have as many as we used to, and I think it's because people are not as much in their minds. We used to have this, people had this desperate need to know, what is awakening? How can I become awakened? When is it going to happen? What's the best practice? What's the, all these questions of the mind. And now the questions that are coming through, I'm noticing, are mostly totally from the heart.
Right.
And it's amazing how 99% of our questions just vanish when we drop into our hearts.
Yay.
Okay. I'll read that. Morey writes, I don't know where this global crisis is taking us. I know. Heaven. Heaven on earth. But in a very roundabout way, no. I don't know where this global crisis is taking us, both personally and collectively. But I've decided to simply surrender to it without dwelling on the minutiae, without analyzing anything. Do you agree? Actually, we've been doing it one way or another, progressively, since the beginning of the pandemic in 2020. I agree with everything you said, except for one phrase. I wouldn't say that I've decided to surrender to it. That's like acquiescence to division, hatred, death, and darkness. I have to surrender to being in a world with all of us where that has been happening up to this moment for countless thousands of years. So, yes, it begins with surrender, acceptance of what is in the present moment. but also praying fervently and working in whatever ways we're anointed by Spirit to work to be the change. And the biggest part we can do is to grow ourselves and flower and sort of share that contagion with everyone we run into. But yeah, I mean, that's what we have to do, especially as things become more, if we're in a place where things at some point become crazier, whether it's climate or whether it's, whatever it is. If chaos sets in like that, it's a waste of energy to resist it. It's a waste of time and energy to try to run from it and to distract ourselves, to freak out over it. So it begins by surrendering, yes, to this is the way it is in this moment. But I do not surrender to it staying that way another micro instant. I'm working for change constantly, but from a place of acceptance, but not acquiescence. I think you got it.
Yeah, I would totally agree with that. I had to just, really not get caught up in all the drama of the news and the stories of what's going on the planet right now. And it doesn't mean that I'm burying my head in the sand or that I'm in denial or any of that. I'm acutely aware of the crisis that appears to be going on the planet right now. And the more that we can stay in our hearts, and like Michael said, continuing to grow and continuing to share our growth, we'll have a bigger ripple effect than being swung one minute to the other with all of this bad news and tragedy and trauma and drama. That's going to happen or not. But if we're lending our consciousness and our emotions to that crisis mentality by saying, oh no, this is happening, oh no, this is horrible, oh no, exactly, when you surrender to what is in the present moment, but set your heart really fast and steady on being with the divine and being the change that we want to see.
And we all have different dharmas, different callings. I mean, Suzanne and I are a team, but our approach to many things is very different. I agree completely with what Suzanne just said. And I'm adding, in my personal space, I am scanning world events. I do. I keep abreast of what's happening in all these things that would probably drive some people insane to keep looking at. And I'm constantly praying and sending blessing and staying aware. That's part of my dharma. For I know for many people, the best thing, some of the decisions that some of our friends have made is to just stop watching the drama and just stay focused on the light and transformation. Can't slight that at all. Okay, I'm going to read a little balance here. 15 Rumi quotes on spirituality and love. Just love Rumi. And these are articles with quotes that I draw from a website called inspiringquotes.com. And the one article I'm reading this evening is Julia Travers. She's a writer, an artist, and a teacher. And thank you for this, Julia. This is beautiful stuff. Poet, spiritual teacher, mystical dancer, and cultural leader. The writer known as Rumi held many roles in the 13th century and continues to be one of the most popular poets in the world today. Jalal al-Din Rumi was born in Afghanistan in 1207. He traveled through Uzbekistan, Iran, Syria, and spent much of his life in Turkey before his death in 1273. He wrote in Persian, Arabic, Turkish, and Greek, and is widely seen as the most influential mystical writer in the Muslim tradition. His deeply human and universally inspiring works have now been translated in more than 20 languages and sold millions of copies. Rumi's father and grandfather were traditional Muslim preachers and scholars. And Rumi followed in their footsteps. But when he met a wandering holy man named Shams of Tabriz in 1244, he embarked on a new life into mysticism and poetry. Rumi's relationship with Shams and his mourning of Shams' death a few years after they met fueled his prolific writing. Rumi wrote tens of thousands of individual pieces, many of which were devotional songs for Shams, the Prophet Muhammad, and God, along with his masterwork, the Masnavi, which is composed of 26,000 couplets, 2 lines of verse that form a poetic unit. He described transcendent love, the holy nature of everyday experiences, joy, grief, and more with an accessible lyrical voice. Many of his poems were written as he spun in a whirling dance, or were composed to be sung in gatherings of Sufis, Islamic mystics. Both during his life and after, Rumi's vibrant musings appealed to people of many faiths and backgrounds. As one of the key translators of Rumi's work, Coleman Barks, wrote, quote, "He wants us to be made alive, to wake up. He wants us to see our beauty in the mirror and in each other," unquote. Here are 15 Rumi quotes that reveal his unique perspective on spiritual enlightenment and divine love. I just love Rumi. Here are a few good ones. Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. From the Essential Rumi.
It's like what we were just talking about with Moray's question.
That which God said to the rose and caused it to laugh in full-blown beauty, he said to my heart and made it 100 times more beautiful. From Jewels of Remembrance. The minute I heard my first love story, I started looking for you, not knowing how blind that was. Lovers don't finally meet somewhere. They're in each other all along. The Essential Rumi. Dance when you're broken open. Dance if you've torn the bandage off. Dance in the middle of the fighting. Dance in your blood. Dance when you're perfectly free. From the work, Dance When You're Broken Open. In the house of the world, if the house of the world is dark, love will find a way to create windows. The Analects of Rumi. Your legs will get heavy and tired. Then comes a moment of feeling the wings you've grown lifting. Rumi Selected Poems. This being human is a guest house. Did you get that? This being human is a guest house. Every morning a new arrival. A joy, a depression, a meanness. Meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whoever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. The Essential Rumi. Oh, now that's rich. Friend, our closeness is this. Anywhere you put your foot, feel me in the firmness under you. Open Secret, Versions of Rumi. Which is worth more, a crowd of thousands or your own genuine solitude? Freedom or power over an entire nation? A little while alone in your room will prove more valuable than anything else that could ever be given you. The Essential Rumi. Love is the reality. And poetry is the drum that calls us to that. Don't keep complaining about loneliness. Let the fear language of that theme crack open and float away. Let the priest come down from his tower and not go back up. The essential Rumi. Let the beauty we love be what we do. There are hundreds of ways to kneel and kiss the ground. Let the beauty we love be what we do. There are hundreds of ways to kneel and kiss the ground. Rumi selected poems. While still in the cage of your being, behold the spirit bird before it flies away. Rumi's Little Book of Life. They will ask you what you've produced. Say to them, except for love, what else can a lover produce? From Hush, don't say anything to God. That's the book. Birds make great sky, circles of their freedom. How do they do it? They fall, and falling, they're given wings. Rumi selected poems. Submit to a daily practice. Your loyalty to that is a ring on the door. Keep knocking, and the joy inside will eventually open a window and look out to see who's there. The essential Rumi.
Nice.
Yeah, something about that guy, you know. I love Sufism in general, but oh my God! And said a lot of his stuff. He was a whirling dervish. He did that spiral whirling dance that's with a special position and breathing and chanting of the names of God. And I was dizzy for 2 days last time I tried. But I have friends who are Sufis who can just whirl and whirl and whirl and whirl. And in that place, spiral into ecstatic union with God. And it's such a beautiful spiritual practice. And it was in that state that many of his beautiful writings were inspired and breathed into his spirit by the divine. And Jason adds, the book Rumi's Sun, S-U-N, contains the writings of Shams. They are staggering. Have to look that up. Thank you, Jason, for that tip. Yeah. I mean, we owe, in the West, so much in spirituality as well as mathematics and science to Islam. And I mean, I'm an interfaith minister, but I mean, my roots are Taoism and Christianity, and I will always be a mystical Christian. That said, I felt so ripped off because I studied modern European history and world history, both in the higher years of high school and in college. And we weren't taught anything about some of the contributions. Now, to spirituality, that came me discovering that even later. I mean, I began to see that there was much more to it, that there was sort of a political bias in some sense, why we weren't being told and instructed as students in the amazing contributions of Islam to humanity. I mean, we hear about religious wars and struggles, but you can make the same argument for Christianity, and yet we might be more aware of some of the beautiful mystical contributions of that tradition. But oh my God, the mystical contributions of Islam, and St. John of the Cross, who wrote The Dark Night of the Soul, his parents were converts from Islam. And so he had this rich background in Moorish Islamic teaching and spirituality that he brought with him into the medieval church where he shared so many illumined teachings. Raymond Lull, a great Franciscan saint, also from Spain, his dream was to open, among other things, was to help open the doors of the universities in Europe at that time, which were all in monasteries, to some of the Islamic mysticism. And partially in line with that, he wrote this spiritual treatise called The Lover and the Beloved, which would be very close to some of St. John of the Cross's mystical writings and King Solomon. The Lover and the Beloved, the Song of Solomon, portrays the spiritual journey as a romance, a deep romance between the soul and the divine. And it's described in times in the most romantic, even erotic terms. And so Raymond Lull wrote this book and introduced the concept of the divine romance being the lover and the beloved into Western Christianity. He too, being someone from Spain, was exposed to so much of the mystical Islamic influence that came through the Moorish Muslims, which were a huge part of the population of Spain back in the day, and brought that whole notion, which is so dear to me, of the divine romance, of the divine being our beloved and us being the beloved of the divine, and how we're yearning to embrace and to become one. I don't see how it gets better than that. Well, I'm not seeing any other questions, but we can wait another minute. Okay.
Should we dive in?
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I'm already in. I'm way over my head. But just close your eyes and open your hearts and invoke the presence. Rumi also said, "You are not a drop of the divine ocean. You are the entire ocean of God, the entire ocean of existence existing within a drop. It's all inside of you. The outer world is a reflection of the inner. If we go deep, deep, deep enough inside, we discover our true essence, our true divine nature, which is awakened consciousness itself. Our very essence is Bodhi, is enlightenment. What you seek, you already have. And your true essence is the divine itself. Fully God, fully one with the divine in every way. This is the secret that is no secret. That your center, your divine wants to reveal to you, yearns to reveal to you. So let's let it happen. Let us allow the divine source shining within us at the center of our being illuminate every layer, flooding our spiritual layers with enlightenment, direct, experience of the light. Let it flood our minds, our souls, our emotions, all of those middle layers of Manomaya Kosha. Let it be flooded by the light that's shining in your heart to dissolve wrong thinking, fear, hatred, anger, all of those difficult emotions, wrong programming and wrong thinking. The light will just dissolve it and inspire you with God-given ideas, thoughts, emotions, feelings. It yearns to shine into your physical layer, to heal your body, to take sickness and disease from your midst, and to fill you with divine life, divine light, and divine health. From the top of your head to the soles of your feet, let it be. Receive healing grace to make you whole and to delight your divine. It seeks to flood your relationships with grace, to heal them all and make them right, to shine through you and all of your connections to the outer world like a lighthouse, radiating, beaming in all directions, unconditional love, peace that passes all understanding. Presence knows what you need before you do. So just let go of whatever you're carrying, whatever burdens. Just surrender them to the divine. Release them and drink in the grace that will set it all right. Soak it up. Picture us all sitting in a circle, and with our eyes closed, let us lift up our hands with our palms facing forward, and let us invite the presence to pour through all of us the flowering heart blessing as it flows through you to all the others in the circle. It is transforming you as it flows through you to them, and it's flowing back to you through them as well. Picture in the middle of our circle the beautiful translucent planet Earth. She is alive. And let us invite the divine to pour through us blessings of healing for all the earth and all the living beings that dwell within and upon her. Let us take a strong intention that the earth be filled with the light of the knowledge of the glory of the divine as the waters cover the sea. That the eyes of all humans would be opened and their stony hearts melted and begin to flower with unconditional love. Every eye open to behold the light of the divine filling to make direct eye contact with Suzanne and or me. Just keep gazing at least one of our eyes. And the rest is up to the divine. All you need to do is keep looking as we dive into the light meditation. Suzanne and I are flooded with oceans of divine grace and light and love. And it begins to stream through every pore of our being to you, especially through our eyes, the doorways of the soul. The light streams out of our eyes, into your eyes, deep into your spiritual heart of hearts, causing the light of awakening, the flames of divine love to grow brighter and brighter and brighter within you. Just keep looking. grace we've received settles within us. Now keep meditating as long as you want, or find a spot nearby to lie down in Shavasana. That's a yoga pose where you lie on your back comfortably with your eyes closed and your arms loosely at your sides with your palms turned upward. And then just let yourself dissolve with gratitude in the present. It's a beautiful thing to do after any spiritual practice, really. We love you so much.
Much love, Father, blessings.
Till we meet again, know that the divine within us beholds the divine within you that is you, and we bow to you.